Hi everyone, it's craftytinas. In today's video, I want to show you how I made an address book to go into my address card box using the Universal Cinch. Now this is an unusual situation. Normally you would just put your recipe cards. I said address, I meant recipe. Sorry. Usually you would just put your recipe cards inside your recipe box. And this one I have decorated with these really cute vinyl decals. They're not really stickers, they're actually vinyl. And I know this picture does not do it justice. They are really vivid colored vinyl stickers, I guess we're going to call them. But they are super nice. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to make matching notebooks using the cinch so that you can make your notebooks to go inside your recipe card box. I'm going to make 3 note card books to go in the recipe box. What I did was I bought these decals on Amazon, and I will put the link in. You get 12 sheets, and each sheet has 4 different designs. Some of them have a few more than 4, like they have a little, they're beautiful pictures. Some of them have like an extra, so they have more than 4. This one has 5. They're super pretty. This one has a little extra. Not all of them have the extra, but they are awesome. They are full color, very vivid colors. They're very antique kitchen look and feel to them. Kind of like an antique country kitchen look. I absolutely love them. I was trying to decide how to decorate my recipe box here. It's a gift. And I was trying to figure out how I wanted to decorate it, and I could not decide. It's been months. And I saw these on Amazon, and I'm like, well, let me try it. It's a sticker. I'm probably not going to be happy with it. I'm very impressed with these. So impressed that I bought one set, and then I turned around and bought a whole nother set just so that I could have the matching stickers or decals to go on my books from my recipe cards to go inside my box. Now I'm making 3 of these recipe books. I'm not doing dividers. I bought my recipe cards and then decided I didn't like them because they aren't quite long enough as what I would want them to be. They're perfectly fine. They're normal. This is supposed to be a 4x6 recipe card. However, they do measure slightly smaller than 4x6. So maybe it's because they're afraid that they need to fit in your 4x6 recipe box. I actually made one of these little notebooks and told my husband to make me a recipe box for specifically these books. So this isn't a normal recipe box. This is something my husband cut with his laser, glued it together for me, and now I'm decorating it and making the little recipe books to go inside. So what I've also done is, this is from Amazon, and you get 25 of these cards, and they are double-sided. I'm sorry, you get 75 of these cards. I'm making 3 books, so 25 cards went in each book. Because I didn't really care for the recipe cards that are here, I've actually made printable recipe cards for you in case you want to print out your own. So these recipe cards are double-sided, and I normally do not do that because I have the hardest time getting them to line up. So I managed to get these lined up. I managed to get them on a piece of paper that's double-sided. They line up properly, and I'm going to show you how to cut them. I recommend using a good quality paper or a very light quality cardstock. A lot of printers do not do well with heavy cardstock. You don't need heavy cardstock for these. You just need something a little durable. I don't recommend putting every one of these pages into a hardcover sleeve. If you did 25, that's how many cards are here, of these little plastic things, they're going to be huge. So just put your cards inside. Use the photo sleeve protectors that I showed you in 2 other videos now. These are the 4x6 photo sleeves, the heavy duty ones, and I'll put that link in the description as well. Use those for your covers or make covers using chipboard. I chose to use the plastic because when you get splatters and dirty hands, you want your recipe cards to be a little safe. If you want to print your own, and I do plan on printing some of my own, I have this sheet on my Facebook page. It's going to be called the 4x6 recipe card, and in Gonna make a little disclaimer here. It's actually 5 by 7/8 and 4 3/4 because I want my recipe card to go all the way to the top so I can bind it. I don't want it to hang off my cover because this is clear. I don't want it to be seen. So if this is behind here and it goes all the way to the top, I want it to go from side to side, and I want it to go all the way to the bottom of my inside piece, not the bottom of my plastic. So that is why it is 4 3/4. You can cut this, adjust this to make it a 4 by 6 if you want it to be exactly 4 by 6. I did make it double-sided. I put the back, I put recipe notes. The front, I kept it very simple. I don't need a lot of complications. I'm a hot mess in the kitchen as it is. I want as simple and basic as possible. I just simply put the recipe and I put the word from. This kind of seems weird on a recipe card, but I want to know where this recipe came from because there could be a difference as to where it come from depending on what I want to make today. If this is banana bread, did it come from a coworker, or is this my mother-in-law's banana bread? Because that's two totally different things, and I need to know. If it's my mother-in-law's banana bread, I got to make sure I have enough calories because that thing is awesome and I eat way too much of it. So I need to know these things. So I added from, and not necessarily for the person, but maybe I found this recipe on Pinterest and I want to remember that. Or I got this recipe off of Facebook, or I copied it from somebody else's recipe book. I kind of want to know where it came from because that conversation may come up and I won't remember. I only added servings here in case I was making muffins or something and I kind of wanted to get a general idea of how many it makes. Otherwise, servings are suggestions, people. Eat with your heart. I wanted to know the cook time. I don't cook without a cook time, and I don't cook without a temperature. I also need exact amounts. I need to know if it's a half a cup, a quarter of a cup. I can't do the whole put flour in until it's a nice firm ball. I can't do that. I got to have the amount and the ingredients, and then I got to have directions. And sometimes I need more notes. You got to be specific with me. You got to tell me what's going on. This was what works for me. So I made the recipe card based on the simplest information that I could get and still be able to make the recipe. You're going to get 2 recipe cards that are double-sided. You're going to want to print this. So you're going to need to tell your printer, if you're going to do double-sided, that you want it to print double-sided and you want it to flip over. You do not want it to flip up. I hope that makes sense. You want it to flip over, and that is an option. It's going to say yes, flip over, yes, flip up. You want it to flip over. Your machine might be different. Your printer might be different. If that doesn't work, then you need to tell it to print up. But I'm pretty sure it's going to be standard to where you're going to tell it to print over, to flip over rather. So that is how you get the double-sided, and I'm super impressed that I was able to figure that out and line it up. I'm not going to tell you how many times I printed it to get it right because that would be kind of embarrassing. But we have a finished product, and this is going to be on my Facebook page for you to print for free. None of my documents I ever charge for. They're all on my Facebook page under my files. There's a growing amount, so go check it out, find what you need, and print it. Always come back to my videos, though, in case you need to cut it a certain way. In this case, it's very simple. You're going to cut 5 7/8. You're going to cut this off, this over here. Then you're going to cut 4 3/8, and then 4 3/8. And this piece here, you're just going to toss in your recycle or use it when you're punching things and you're trying to get an idea of how it's punching. Scrap paper is the best thing. Hang on to it because you can use it for punching to figure out how to get your lineup to be perfect. Or you can just come to my Facebook page and get the little cheat sheet so you always know exactly how to line it up right. So that is my recipe cards. So if you want to use them, you can. Now let's talk about the recipe cards that I bought and the 2 different ways to make the covers. The first way is I put a piece of this brown craft paper. It's kind of like cardstock. I put this inside my photo sleeve. Well, let me backtrack. These photo sleeves will not fit in my box. They may fit in yours. They did not fit in my box. I had to take 1/8 of an inch off the side. I did that with my stack cutter. My paper cutter would not touch that. So if you don't have a stack cutter, I have the R Memory Cinch stack cutter. If you don't have that, put it down on a cutting surface, use a metal ruler, and use a knife to cut these. Don't try to cut them with your cutting boards because mine wouldn't even touch it, and I was afraid it was going to break the blade. So cut it with your stack cutter or cut it with a knife with a metal ruler. Just be careful. You want it to fit in your box, so depending on what size box you have, you may not need to cut that off. For this box, I needed it to fit. The inside of this photo sleeve, now that I've cut this tiny bit off, I wanted the same amount on both sides, the little clear. So I cut my paper 5 3/4 by 4 1/2. And this allows it to fill up the entire section. And then I punched my holes to bind it. If you don't want to punch the holes, let's go ahead and take this one out. Let's say you want to be able to change it if you want, or you just don't want to punch the holes in the cardstock itself. You can cut your piece 5 3/4 by 4 inches, and that keeps it below the cut line. We did this earlier in a prior video to make a reusable calendar. We did the same thing so that we're not punching our sheets and they can be reusable. You can do the same thing with the recipe card itself. You can choose to either put it in and punch the holes, or punch the holes and cut it to the smaller size and slip it in here. So now let's take this out because I want to be consistent and I've already made one. I'm going to do the 5 3/4 by 4 1/2. Now, these little decals are meant for you to pull off the backing. I'm actually going to cut it apart. You're supposed to pull the backing off and use it like a rub-on decal or sticker and then pull the cover off. The only problem with that is you can't rub this on paper and then pull the cover off because the cover is going to stick to the craft paper. And here's what I did. I put it down, and then when I pulled it up, it pulls the paper up and it rips the sticker. So you cannot put it down with the cover sheet onto your paper. So you have two choices. You can put this on the plastic itself on the outside. I didn't want to put it on the outside. I wanted this to be on the inside. So what you have to do is you have to separate the sticker from the cover. It wasn't terribly hard. I simply took the backing off, and then I took the sticker itself, and it is very fragile. It's like very thick plastic. So you just want to work it, start it out slow. If it's very detailed, you want to take your time, and you see how I am ripping it. So you really have to be careful because it is, I don't know why it's so brittle. I think because it is a plastic. So you're going to have to be careful. And yes, I am touching the sticky part on the back. There's just no avoiding it. Oops. There we go. And now you can take that, and look, I got little greenery on my fingers. It's okay. You're going to add that to the center of your paper and mash it down. Now, if you had little pieces come off, you can just add them back. This came off the plant itself. So I'm pretty sure it's okay to stick the plant back together. And now I have the decal, and you're going to rub it on there. It comes with a little spatula because once you pull the back off and you're doing it on something like wood, you can rub that cover sheet, pull the cover sheet off, and you've got a perfect decal. That's what it's made for. It's not made to go on paper. now you can't tell I ripped it. You cannot even see, you can't even see that cut. I don't even know if you can feel it. Oh, you can barely feel it, but you can't see it. And then we put it back in the sleeve. Now remember, you need that paper in the sleeve before you punch it. And I am going to give you the dimensions and how to punch them in just a second. I'm going to show you how to cut the recipe cards, and it does have the word recipe, but unfortunately, after you cut it, you can no longer see it. But that's okay too. Another thing is on mine, there is nothing up here. There's just that 1/2 inch ready for you to punch. So now my back, I'm not putting anything on it. I have my 25 recipe cards, and they're double-sided, and they came from Amazon, and Amazon has a slew of these. They range from very inexpensive to very expensive. And I have my cover. So we're going to put this book in here. Now again, we're using 25 recipe cards with 2 covers. So my wires are going to be, what wires did I use? These are my pretty colored ones. I really like these. And my wire gauge is gone, so I can't tell you what size they are. These are, they're not the, alrighty then, they're not the 3/4. They are the one right under that. And I just had my wire guide, guys. Things just like fall away, just go away, never to be seen again. I even have the sticker on the drawer, and believe it or not, the sticker doesn't even have it. We'll get back to that in just a second. 25 cards and 2 covers. This wire is less than 1/2, so it's going to be the, I think it's the 5/16 or 5/8. Oh, I put my little thing back where it belongs. See, this is what happens when you put things away. It is the 9/16. I'm so sorry. I bought these on Amazon, and they came in 10 different colors for the pack. They are the 9/16, and they are one of my favorite to use. And we're going to put this somewhere where I won't lose it this time. So a 9/16 wire, we're using 10 of them because we have 5 holes again. We're going to make our machine do 5, not 6. Based on the size of this, it should be using 6, but I don't want 6, I want 5. Now, grab your universal cinch log. These are going to be added to it. The actual covers, the covers themselves are 6 1/4. So we're going to go 6 1/4. I want to punch 5 holes. I'm going to go 1 click past my 1 inch. Now I have a paper stopper here. We're going to go to the 1. So you would take your line to the 1, and then you're going to go 1 click that way. And that is what you're going to punch for the covers. I've already punched these 2 covers. You're going to punch your front and your back. But now we need to punch the cards, because we've had that step in another video, because we have now made 2 different books using these covers. One of them is a reusable calendar, and one of them is a lined notebook pad. So we've already had some fun with these covers, and now we're making a recipe book. But now these recipe cards are a very uneven number. They're very odd to be a 4x6. For using a ruler, they are 5 7/8. They are not 6 inches. So I added that to our cinch log, and I did put a note over here that this is for the recipe card, and I will put that note when I retype this and list it on my Facebook page so that you can print it. We're still going to do 5 holes because we need 5 for our cover. We're going to go 1 click less than 1 inch. So we're going to take the slider to 1 inch, and that means your first line is going to line up at 1, or if you have the paper stop, it's going to line up at 1. You're going to go 1 click to the right, making it 1 click less. And that is how you're going to punch your recipe cards. So, like I said, there's 25 here. That is way too much, even for the universal cinch. I'm going to do it in a couple little batches because I don't want to overwhelm it and I don't want to get it jammed. I have jammed this one on camera before. I normally do everything face down. For this video, we're going to do everything face up. So we're going to open it up. We're going to make sure we're nice and stacked. We're either going to put it along the line if you don't have the stopper, or along the stopper if you do. Make sure it goes all the way to the back and make sure only 1 through 5 is pushed. If you push 6, you're going to get a half of a hole at the end of your actual recipe cards. So now I have equal amounts on both sides, and I did not let the machine dictate to me that I wanted to do 6 holes because I wanted to do 5. I'm aware it cuts the word recipe off, and again, I'm okay with that. You're going to punch every one of them the exact same way, either lining it up with the line or the paper stopper. This is also a friendly reminder to clean out your discard drawer, which I will show you in just a second. This is a reminder that you need to clean out your drawer. I just cleaned mine before the video. You do not want paper to fill up in here and jam underneath. So this is your reminder to clean it out. So now I have all of my holes perfectly aligned with the same amount of space on both sides. I can bind my recipe booklet now. You're going to take your 9/16 wire, that is 10. This is 2-to-1 pitch. The Universal Cinch can do more than just 2-to-1 pitch, but if you're doing this on the regular cinch, I just wanted to let you know that this wire is 2-to-1 pitch. That just simply means there's 2 holes or 2 wires per inch. You can hang it on the side. The first thing you're going to do though is take that back piece off, and you're going to lay it exactly the way you took it off. You're going to lay it right on top. Place it on the wires and pick it up. Oops, it tried to come out. You're going to flip the machine around, and because this is 9/16, we're going to go 1 click above the 1/2 inch. And we are already there because our prior book was 1 click above the 1/2 inch. We're going to place this inside to the back. Both these openings are going to be flush to the back. You're going to hold it down and flush, making sure these hit the back and make sure your bottom is on the bottom. You're going to bend down and look at what you're doing. You're going to watch those wires go into a circle. And as they do, it is going to push the book out a little bit, and that's okay. You don't have to shove it back in. Let the machine move it, but you have to start with it in the very back. So press it against the back, holding it from the book. You're going to look through here, and you're going to make sure those wires are inside the clamp. They don't stick out on this side or this side. Get them in the middle, and you're going to simply cinch. Let the machine push the book out slightly. By doing that, you're going to have perfectly round wires that slightly overlap. If they don't overlap, line them back up to where they would be against the back, and press it again in case you didn't push all the way down. And there you have it. They slightly overlap. That will keep pages from falling out. And because we did it with the back on the top, now our seam is on the inside. And just like that, we have a nice recipe book ready to go. And that is book number 2. Let's do book number 3 in case you missed a step. I already have my plastic punched, but in case you need to know, this is 6 1/4. We're going to go 1 click past the 1, or make sure you line up your line with 1, and then go 1 click past. Every time you move this, you'll feel and hear the little click. So go 1 past. You're going to put your cardstock, your pretty paper, whatever you're going to use as your cover inside, and then you're going to punch your holes, and you have your 5 equally spaced holes. Let's punch these real quick, and like I said, we're not going to overload it. These are about 25, so about 5 to 7. For the cards are 5 7/8. We only want 5 holes. So we're going to 1 click less than 1. So we're going to put this back to 1. Our line or our stopper is going to go to 1. And then you're going to go one click to the right. And now we can do our 5 7/8. The more you put in there, the more it's going to struggle. So pick your battles. If you want to make it easier on yourself, don't put as many. And now, oops, I didn't mean to turn them upside down. Such a habit. See, I have a habit of flipping these upside down all the time. And now all my holes are aligned. I can bind, but before I do that, I need to add my decal again. So let's do this again. These are beautifully colored. I wish the camera did them justice. The photo on Amazon does not do them justice as well. These are 2 separate stickers. So I'm going to take the little spatula off, and I'm adding this image because it is the matching set. Like I said, I got 2 packs of stickers so that I could have 4 for the box, and then 3 of them is used for inside for the books themselves. So again, we have to remove the sticker. Maybe this time let's try removing the cover and leaving the sticker on the back carrier sheet. Maybe that will make it a little easier for us. We might need to start at the bigger pieces, which is on the bottom. Let's try that. So we're going to make sure that sticker, decal or sticker, stays to the bottom. And we're going to slowly pull it off. This seems to be working better. We're going to keep with the biggest section first. And we're just going to slowly pull off this cover sheet. This cover sheet is extremely sticky, is the reason it ripped the paper. That's much better. So now we have basically a sticker on a backing piece. So now we can take the backing off the sticker. And we're going to do it slowly and carefully. This is a very plastic-like sticker. Oh, that was much easier. So now you know to take the cover off first and then the backing. We had no trouble, no cracks, no problems. We're just going to center that and give it a nice good rub. I have had these on the wood themselves for weeks now, or I don't want to say weeks. It's been on there a week, and it is not coming off. There's no edges peeling up. It has some really good adhesive on it. They are also very shiny. You can see that from my light shining on it. They're super shiny, and they almost look wet. They're so shiny. But now my books match perfectly to my box. I'm going to slide my paper back in. This is my backing. Everything's loaded from the side. And now I can put my recipe cards in using my 9/16 wire. So we're going to hang this over here. We're going to take the back off. This is a very important step. Take your back and put it on top of the front. Your insides go in first, then your cover face up, then the back cover with the outside, in case this is printed, the outside goes facing the front outside. And now we're ready to bind. Same instructions. No matter how many times you bind, you are going to look inside this little tunnel. You are going to make sure it's set properly, and it is because we just did one. You're pressing it up against the back. You're looking through here as you press. And if you want to hold it for a second, that's perfectly fine. Now they are not quite overlapped. We're going to put it back with the actual seam up against the back. You can also go one click down to press it a little bit more. And now it's overlapping. Now we have our pretty little notebook, recipe book, and the seam is inside the back cover. So it's not really going to be seen. The notebook opens flat. It gets all the stuff out of the way. It also opens all the way. And what I also have discovered is if you're using your little notebooks, here's your recipe card, you can actually put your notebook on your recipe box, close your box, doesn't close all the way. And now my recipe book is here for me to actually see it when I'm making my recipe, but the box is closed so things aren't splattering and it's not laying to the side like this would be, getting wet or being touched or being splattered on. This is a great way to let the person who's receiving the gift know, hey, you can hang your little book on the outside. If you want to make more of these books, I believe it would hold 5. I am leaving extra room because I don't know if the person that I'm gifting it to has more recipe cards they would like to add, or they can ask for 2 more books and I'd be glad to make them and add them inside. Hopefully the person who receives this is not watching my video right now. Otherwise, when you open your gift on Christmas Day, you're going to say, hey, I've seen that box before. But that is what I've made for my recipe books. It's a simple process using the recipe cards. They're not loose to get lost or left on the counter to get wet. You have them nice and neat. They can easily be appetizers, entrees, and desserts. Thanks, guys. If you like this video, make sure you like and subscribe. Also, come to my Facebook page so that if you want to print out your own recipe cards, you can. Let me show you, because this is still 5 7/8. Let me show you what it looks like punched. You can simply bind that in a binder. And instead of having the word recipe bound, you have no writing here, and you have a slight bit of length so that it comes directly down to the edge of your cover page inside of your sleeve. So check out my Facebook page, get you some printouts, and get crafting. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And as always, guys, happy crafting.